All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the third part of the show, we're going to now get into discussing the big AFC North matchup between the Steelers and the Ravens. And this is a battle for first place. So we just had the battle for first place in the AFC East now with the AFC North. We'll talk about that. And yeah, it's kind of a surprise because you would have thought that it was going to be between the Ravens and the Bengals, or a lot of people would have thought that before the year started, but it's not the case. The Steelers have played really well this year. I mean, I expected them to be a team that finishes with the winning record, but I did not expect them to be 7-2 at this point. And, they could very easily be 8-1 because I still don't know how they lost that game to the Cowboys. They should not have lost that game. And they also lost to the Colts, too. So, they lost to two football teams with losing records. I mean, if you win, you're undefeated right now. But either way, 7-2 is very impressive. And this is the best case for them right now because, they got the tough part of their schedule. They're in it now. And I don't think this team is going to go winless. They're going to win at least, I think they're going to get to 10 wins. And that's going to be good enough to get you in the playoffs. Now, I still like the Ravens to win this division, but the Ravens have had their problems with this team. They have. Last year, Steelers won both games. Now, one of them, the Ravens had their, did not play their starters. But the first game, Lamar Jackson did not play well in that. I'll see if I could pull that up and read off his stats from that game. But the Ravens, for some reason, the Steelers are their kryptonite. And, it's because they're a division rival and, they know each other very well. Really the only things that haven't changed from these two teams is the head coaches. I mean, John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin, they've been around for a while. That's really the only thing that hasn't changed is the two head coaches. But yeah, go back to last year. So Lamar Jackson went 22 of 38 for 236 yards, no touchdowns and a pick. Kenny Pickett went 18 of 32 for 224 yards, a touchdown. George Pickens had a big game, 6 receptions for 130 yards and a touchdown, the go-ahead touchdown to put them up, the Steelers. But Lamar Jackson, he had a bad red zone interception in that game. I remember that. I don't know if he had a fumble in the game, but the Steelers are going to give him problems in this game, I believe. I think the key for the Ravens is, rely on that running game. Rely on Derrick Henry to take over because that is a guy that the Ravens have not had. This is the first time that he will be introduced to the Ravens-Steelers rivalry. And I think maybe they could find some success. No, they are going to find success with running the football. Derrick Henry did not have a big game last week against the Bengals. The Bengals did a good job at limiting him. Now, I don't know if the Steelers are going to be able to do that in this game, but we'll see. And looking at the league rankings of both teams, Ravens are 4th in passing yards per game. The Steelers are 26th. Both teams are good at running. We know that. Ravens are the number 1 rushing team in the NFL. Steelers are 8th. And then points per game, Ravens are 1st, and the Steelers are 12th. And then defensively, the Ravens are the number 1 team at stopping the run, but they're also last against the pass. Pass defense is not good. The Steelers are pretty good at stopping the run as well. They're 4th. They're giving up an average of 87.1 rushing yards per game. And then, the Steelers are 23rd against the pass. And then points allowed, the Steelers' defense is 2nd. Ravens is 25th. So I do think this is going to be, regardless, be a competitive game. And, you saw Russell Wilson throwing up those moon balls last week, the go-ahead touchdown to Mike Williams. That incredible touchdown catch by George Pickens early on in the game. So I expect we'll see some moon balls in this game with the Ravens secondary struggling the way it is. So, and the Ravens are the number 1 team at stopping the run. So, that's something that the Steelers like to do. Although I did see that Jaylen Warren appeared on the injury report. I think he's dealing with a back issue, so it's possible that he misses this game, which is unfortunate because he actually, was getting healthy and he started to run the football like how he was last year. And, you lose him for this game. That's a big deal. That's a big deal because he's been a good player for them. But I've liked what I've seen from Russell Wilson. I don't think he's playing spectacular, but he definitely is playing better with the Steelers than he, had been the previous 2 seasons with the Broncos. So, but that's what happens. The Steelers and Mike Tomlin, they believe in him. Sean Payton last year, he didn't want Russell Wilson. He didn't. But now he's got his guy in Bo Nix who's doing well. So, but yeah, Russell Wilson has stepped in, and we all kind of questioned why they made the switch because Justin Fields was playing well and they were winning games. But we can all be quiet now because Russell Wilson is doing a good job. And, we'll see what happens in this game. The Steelers are home. They're 3.5-point underdogs. I actually am going to take them with the points. And I might take them to win outright. But last night, taking the Commanders, and they ended up losing. Now, the Commanders were away. The Eagles were the home team. The Steelers are home for this game. So I could see the scenario where, the Steelers win here and then the Ravens get them in Baltimore later in the year. But I think the Steelers continue to beat the Ravens. I think it'll be a tight game, just like the Bills and Chiefs game. I think it wouldn't surprise me if it becomes a defensive battle. Again, the both teams are a little vulnerable against the pass, so that's where they're going to have to maybe win it. But then again, how are the Steelers going to do against Derrick Henry? Are they going to be able to limit him? Are they going to... I think they'll take what the Bengals did and apply it. They got the guys to do it. And then, of course, what you see on the graphic, T.J. Watt coming off the edge. He could take over a game. So, we'll see if the Ravens are able to limit him in this game. So, this is a game to definitely look forward to. I think it's gonna be entertaining. Both teams are playing really well. Give the Steelers a lot of credit because I don't think a lot of people expected them to be, including myself. I expect them to have a winning record. I did not expect them to be 7-2 at this point and competing for first place. But this is a team that is in a great position to make the playoffs. Even if they lose this game, they still are in a great position to make the playoffs, and they're another team that could be a problem. But I will say, and I've said it a bunch of times, Steelers fans don't want to just make the playoffs. They don't want to settle. They want to win this game, put themselves in a good position, a better position to win this division, get into the playoffs, host a playoff game, and win a playoff game. Enough of just making it. They want to see more. So, winning this game would go a long way. And I think they have a great shot to do so. And I think Russell Wilson has done a great job for the most part at, with ball security. He threw a pick in the game against the Commanders, but that was basically an arm punt. But we'll see. I do like them to win. I'm going to say it's like, 23-20, something like that. Maybe Boswell kicks a field goal late. Maybe Justin Tucker misses a field goal because he's kind of struggled at times this year. But because I picked the Steelers, that probably means that the Ravens are going to end up winning. But we'll see. It should be a good game, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't know who's broadcasting. I know it's a CBS game, but we know Nance and Romo are going to be in Buffalo doing Chiefs Bills. So I'm assuming this would be an Iron Eagle vehicle, but we'll see. But let me know what you guys think about this game. Who do you think wins? Let me know in the comments. Curious to see what happens. So when we come back from our next break, we will take a look at. Well, first what we'll do is we'll take a look at the college football playoff rankings, just so I don't forget. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look back at the matchups from last week, how they all went. And then we'll take a look at the matchups for this week. And then we'll get into the early slate of games in the NFL. And that'll be our fourth segment. So with that being said, stick around. And we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.